Okay, with the van stuck in the mud, 2 kilometers from the site of El Fuerte, near Samaipata, high in the Bolivian rainforest. Absolutely gorgeous area. At the moment we have sunshine, and hopefully that will continue because the weather is so fickle here. It changes every 5 minutes from sun to downpour. But then again, this is the rainy season, so what else are you supposed to expect?
So here we have the scale model. It's a giant outcrop of red sandstone with all of this carved into the surface. One of the most surreal things on this planet.
After several hundred stairs, if you can call them that, up higher into the Bolivian rainforest. Thank God it's not raining at the moment, but we'll soon get a glimpse of this amazing sculpted stone outcrop. So according to what we call conventional archaeology, which in general means they can't think outside of quite a rigid box, which is also quite limited in scope, all of this work we're about to see was done by the Inca culture. Now, I'm sure we're going to see Inca-related structures, but one question is, why would the Inca be building a site on the top of a mountain, presumably hundreds of miles away from any other Inca site? Well, the high mountain fog is moving in, so we're moving out. But we'll return. And with my quadcopter called Pachacutec, named after a great Inca, we've been given the permission to fly over top of the giant red sandstone mystery here, close to the small town of Samaipata in the jungles of eastern Bolivia.
The Bolivian guide and archaeologist that we hired told us that this work was done about 1500 BC from some tribal people from the Amazon. But the question is, what kind of technology would they have had in order to do this work? What you see in the lower part of the picture is actual Inca construction. But who did all of this sculpting and shaping? This monolith or megalith is several hundred feet long, and you can see all of the sculpting that's been done. Niches and what look like seats. It just goes on and on and on. Would a Amazonian culture have had the technology to carve into this red sandstone? And here again, in greater detail, all of these seats or steps or cutouts, some might speculate that this is in fact a quarry, but if so, then where is all of the large stone that was removed? Because again, what you're looking at there on top is Inca, composed mainly, and there again in the foreground you see more Inca work. It's basically local stone which has been glued together with red mud, the red mud of the area. And there are no pieces coming out of the monolith that fits into any of this Inca work. And here we have an overhead shot. You see the amount of erosion of the stone. Would this have been the result of 500 years of time? Because the Inca were in this area about 500 years ago, and that's when they did their wall work and houses and things like that. but the erosion of this quite hard red sandstone would appear to be thousands of years old. And so what we've seen, at least in Peru, is that the Inca tended to build on sites that were much older than they were. And this is Pumapunku. This is where the technically incredibly accurate stonework is. This is another one of the gates. There's the famous Sun Gate. And then this one. Carved out of solid diorite stone. This is where the clamps fit or held the stones together. And it's the size that's incredible. This is not a small one. Here's my foot. It's twice the size of my foot. It's the size of that clamp. And another one would have been here, and others here. Again, scale. Twice the size of my foot. And again, more of the clamps here. We should have brought a tape measure. We could measure to see what size these clamps are. It's a very tiny site, but Mr. Gary Evans, the mind-blowing one is right here. This is the most photographed stone at Pumapunku because of this channel. This channel that goes down in this piece of perfectly flat stone. And looking down from the top, it is perfect, technically perfect, perfectly straight line. Like a router came and cut that path with the drill holes, and the drill holes are all exactly the same size. And it's hollow. And then through this amazing collection of different sorts of blocks, this one.
Right, I imagine you got lots of photos of this, so that I don't have to ask you on photos, right?
I'll take more. See that perfectly flat surface? And the so-called H blocks. Concave in the front. So this is what they found when they dug 2 feet down. You got things like this with holes in it. Over here you have blocks sticking out. You have there, obviously, that giant sandstone slab was buried up at least 2 feet, if not more. So it does look like there was some kind of mud wave that came through the area. And everything is so thrown around And it's such a complete mess that not only was it a mining operation after the arrival of the Spanish, but prior to that, you just have all of this sign of devastation that happened. And it's good that they left this stuff in situ, because it lets us hopefully see what it looked like at Pumapunku when this dramatic event happened. Like here. Keystone cuts. Well, the thing that Chris Dunn pointed out is that, you know, what they would do, or what, you know, assuming they use technology like what we have, you can't say that they did, but what he said is they had to, in order to produce multiple flat surfaces, this is perfectly 90-degree angle, you have to have a flat surface. So if they produce this as the flat surface, then this lies down, because that is your gauge of where you start your work. And then from there, then what I'm going to do is take this thing and then measure the distance at the top and see how consistent it is from top to bottom. I just want to show this though, because this is set at the distance to the outer part of this channel groove, and as we go down and down and down, it's really quite consistent. It might vary by a millimeter, but that's about it. All the way down to the bottom part. So human eyes and human hands can't do that.
Want to get that photograph?
Yeah, I'd like to get it.
Yeah.
And just, you know,
Is it varying that much?
no, it's not varying by even a millimeter, I don't
Shock.
think. So Dr. Shock's gonna see what he thinks.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. No, it's not. It's pretty consistent. And then the Space Jam these is what I'm interested in now. So here's the real test. Are they using metric system? No. About 3.5 between them.
Uh-huh.
Started it on 2 different holes. Yeah, that's bang on.
Okay, can you just go down the series?
Yeah,
And
that's bang on.
so they are.
That was the mistake I made.
Okay.
Brick, Jesus. Look at that. That's crazy.
That's great.
That is crazy.
So what's the distance?
I don't know. Probably some sacred distance.
Is that metric?
It's got both.
Oh, good. Okay.
Wow. That is off the scale.
So what do we have?
It's 31 let's see, 32.5 millimeters.
Okay, and in
32.5.
Jeez, the 1 inch, a quarter, let's see, 16th, let's see, 4 or 5/16, 1 inch and 5/16.
okay, perfect. This flat surface is about 10 feet by 10 feet by 2.5 feet thick, and it's almost perfectly flat. Again, it's composed of diorite. And right next to it are these amazing carved out, interlocking stone segments.
Seemingly perfect 90-degree angles too. And maybe the pièce de résistance of Pumapunku is this sun gate, similar to the famous one that's nearby at the sister site. But here we have carved depictions of Viracocha and animal heads. Unfortunately, the erosion is pretty bad. In most of the areas, but still you can make out the faces of Viracocha. Near Paracas, just inland from Paracas on the coast of Peru, south of Lima. And these are the walls of a multi-level pyramid that I'm presently climbing. Now, in terms of age, this could very well be a Paracas culture pyramid, meaning it's no younger than 2,000 years. It goes back in time, well, we don't know how far back in time they go. These are the people with the elongated skulls that are famous around the world. The largest human skulls in the world of so-called Homo sapiens are the Paracas ones. I'm on top of basically what one would describe as a pyramid. It's a multi-level adobe structure, most likely of the Paracas people, so that would make it at least 2,000 years old, but we don't know how much older it could be. So you see the composition. Down below you see the wall structure. Could be as many as 7 levels. It's so badly deteriorated from vandalism. Hopefully I'm not creating too much of a problem for it. And the ravages of time, the sun, and wind. You see the greenness of the surrounding countryside, but here, very bleak desert. Inca, Wari, Nazca, Paracas, and other cultures were all buried here. Well worth a visit if you come to Paracas, Peru. This is most likely the traditional entry point to what is at least a 2,000-year-old adobe pyramid on the coast of Peru near Paracas. It would have been beautiful and it would have been painted, probably red, white, or orange. We don't know now, but most of the pyramids in the area were painted. It's a one of a series. There are about 7 here. They're most likely the work of the Paracas culture, or also the people with elongated skulls. And this place was later adopted by the Wari, and the Nazca, Chincha, and finally the Inca people. Quite cool to have this right in your backyard.
we can take some other things here. Because if you see this kind of main construction in the lower part, which are by the regular archaeologists known as the Inca imperial style, and then this other part of the terraces, which are with the small stones, that according also to the archaeologists might be dated as a pre-Inca, which I think is backwards, is going to show us that here, like in Machu Picchu and some other places, there has been different time and space occupations. And that's very clear when we were going to walk in the stairs over there, okay, where we see all this fine work of masonry. There are two main places here, or three places, Coricancha, Pisac, and Ollantaytambo, where you see this really fine masonry. If you have been in Egypt, one of the main things that is going to come to your head when you will see the work down there is that it's the same technique, the same hand. The ones who has been done part of the sacred chamber in Egypt are the same guys who has been doing this. This is the same hand.
Este fue el Templo del Sol. Estos bloques pesan un promedio de 80 a 100 toneladas. ¿Hemos visto?
And in front of us we have what I was telling you, the biggest stones. As you can see, there are 6 big stones, 6 big pieces, and in between they have these smaller pieces. Okay?
Yeah.
So many people has been trying to just give an explanation of it from the technical or from the architectural perspective. Say they are big stones, the dilatation of the stone, so they put small pieces to allow to tie it, whatever. However, the time and maybe the Spaniards, because around maybe late 1600s and the beginning of the 1700s.
And then this wall, I think, was reconstructed during Inca times. And look at the gaps. The stones don't fit together. Well, at winter solstice, and this goes along with the knobs being shadow markers, is that I think high noon at winter solstice, the sun comes down and the shadow goes right down and locks into that notch.
In the middle, the little half round?
Yeah.